Okay, so that's what happens when you do that. All right. Hey, folks, what's going on? November 16th, 2025, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're already here talking Thanksgiving. Lee Sanders with you. Join along with, as always, on the shows, the beautiful and the lovely Tammy. You guys checking out all new Wrestling with the Topics?
Hello.
Hey, hope you guys been good since last time we were on the air with you guys. Hard to believe, hon, we are now 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. That's just
Hmm.
mind blowing. like,
Yes. Is it mind blowing? Yes, yes,
uh,
yes,
I
yes.
was telling Tams off air a few minutes ago. I said because we got an Amazon Fresh store that's nearby, and I was saying to her, "Yo, we gotta go to Amazon Fresh because apparently they got this new deal that's going on right now. They're saying you can feed 5 people with a Thanksgiving meal for $25. So basically, they're saying, hey, come to us for your cranberry sauce, come to us for the mac and cheese, come to us for the green bean casserole, come to us for the biscuits. And I think they were even advertising a bird, but I don't want to
Hmm. Yeah.
misquote. Okay. So, but like they basically are saying, hey, come get all this good Thanksgiving food, and it's for a limited time, but feed 5 people, and it's $25. I'm going, okay, well, who doesn't like a good deal? To which Tams was going, well, you kind of get what you pay for. The quality might not really be. And I told her, I said, well, wait a minute. I said, so far since you've been going to Amazon, she's been going to Amazon. Let's back up a second. So this Amazon Fresh store that we got, she went there because the original plan was when it first opened up, we were supposed to go together. So
This has been almost a year,
somehow,
actually.
somehow, the odds always are not in my favor when it comes to going to this damn Amazon Fresh. Either I'm tied up with something, I'm sick. It's like there's always some weird crap luck that I have. And so she's just popping up randomly every other week, getting some shit from Amazon Fresh. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to go. And she's like, oh, well, next time. It's like next time. It's kind of like, hey, if you did your homework and you at least got a C, I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese. Really? Yeah, yeah. Hey, I got a C. That's nice. Are we going to Chuck E. Cheese? Oh, well, I already went. Sorry, bud. Maybe next time. It's kind of one of those type of deals right now. And so this go round, I'm like, after I saw that flyer, I'm like, no, no, no. I am determined. I want to go with you to this Amazon because I've been hearing nothing but good things about Amazon Fresh and how you can get these great prices if you're a Prime member and all of this or Prime subscription holder or something
Prime
like that.
member.
Prime member, okay, good.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, discounts. Like, who doesn't like discounts and all that? So, I
And
mean,
they're always offering, for those of you who have an Amazon Fresh by you, they're always offering, spend this amount, get, $10 off, which always helps. Now, I'm kind of mad that the last time I went, I literally spent 4 times that amount and couldn't use two of them. It's always that one coupon per order type deal. But generally speaking, so the reason that he said about Amazon Fresh was I had gotten some. I was like, oh well, I'll just try this, which is their actual Amazon Fresh pipeline. Every store has their own pipeline of their own products and so on and so forth. So I had gotten some lunch meat from them, and I was like, oh, cool. And apparently, it's a rave hit in this house. Um, I haven't even gotten to taste it yet, but it's a rave hit. So I said, well, that's cool, but He's like, but I like the lunch meat. So But generally, guys, really, every time I go there, I really do actually feel like their prices have come down a little bit. Um, because I am a huge fan of the Pure Leaf.
I thought you was about to say you're a huge fan of saving money.
Well, I'm definitely a huge fan of that.
I thought that's what you was about to
Um,
say.
for sure, I'm even more of a huge fan of saving money than I am. But I'm definitely a comparison price shopper too, which obviously makes me a huge fan of saving money. Um, and from what I'm seeing on every time I go, it seems like the prices are comparable, if not lower, than all of our other big box stores that are in the area. And guys and girls, this does include, and don't fall on the floor because it's this shocking, but that includes, guys, Walmart.
Let
And that is saying something in itself.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely saying something in itself. And I mean, everybody's looking for a good deal right now, especially in these times we're in when it comes to the whole inflation and everything. So, I mean, but yeah, hopefully you guys have already done your Thanksgiving shopping because I promise you, especially having worked in retail, the last rodeo for a hot minute. I gotta tell you, there is no worse time in the world. A person and a child are walking on the pathway. Let's see what that's about. I don't know. My ring doorbell just, as I said, a person and a child is walking in the oh, okay, they aren't bothering nobody. Um what was I saying? Chat me
So
up to speed.
basically, so
Oh yeah, the
basically working
worst.
in retail.
Yeah, yeah, like the worst time you want to
Oh yeah.
be doing grocery shopping is definitely the week of Thanksgiving. Like if you already don't like being out there in the public, especially if you're a little bit up there in age, or maybe you're a little bit concerned about catching a cold or whatnot, especially with COVID now running around and everything. It's one of those deals where, yeah, that week of Thanksgiving, that's not for you, especially if you think you're going to be, yeah, oh, I'll just be in and out. No, the week of Thanksgiving, especially the closer you get to Thanksgiving. And, having seen it myself for a couple of years there, I definitely would encourage you guys because apparently a lot of people aren't even aware of this, or maybe they're just that indifferent, or maybe they're just careless. I don't know what it is. I'm not insulting, but it's just a point of observation. You do know that the people that work in all forms of retail, for the most part, even they are given an opportunity to leave work either a little early or their establishment is closed that day so they can spend time with their family. I say that to say that sounds good, right? But I say that to say you'd be amazed how many people are pissed off when they basically procrastinated until the day of, right? Like almost
Hmm.
literally the day of, and go, oh man, they're closed. But I needed my cranberry sauce. I needed my mashed potatoes. I needed my, and have the gall to leave a negative review on Yelp and Google Maps and all that. It's like, whose fault is it that you freaking procrastinated, dude? Like,
No, what happens is what I have found is you've gotten most of your list and you're checking that off, or you just kind of go off memory and so on and so forth, and lo and behold, you're at you're on the day, and I swear to you, you forgot something.
mm,
And I think that's really what it is. Now, grant you, there are people who are procrastinators, just generally. So yes, there are those. But for me, and what I feel is time that really should be spent with family if you can. or serving the community, or something of giving back and giving thanks, right? So I really, really don't think stores should be open. I grew up in a time where stores weren't open on Thanksgiving and Christmas. They weren't. If you needed something, you went to 7-Eleven, and that was, very limited, but that was about all you were going to get. And generally, in our household, it was always milk and batteries. For whatever the latest gadget was, and milk for dinner, or to put in dinner, one or the other. So generally for us, that pretty much was it. But
Mm.
of course, now in the last 10 to 15 years, that has, your big box stores are open, like Target, like Giant, like um, Safeway, and those, big box stores in our area are open generally every Christmas, and every Christmas they're actually,
Don't
peeling
get
back a
too
little
into the
bit.
weeds. Yeah, I was gonna say don't get too into the weeds.
But yeah, so it's for me, that's just my thing on it. But yes, please don't procrastinate, because as I've seen, or at least I feel in the last few years, the stock that's on the shelves isn't exactly what you remember 10 years ago. So if you don't get it early, then sometimes you're either going to have to go to like three different stores, or, you're going to have to do without it, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Last time we were on the air with you, again, once again, hope you guys having a fantastic weekend. Our weekend going pretty good. Sun is out. I got to tell you, I had saddled up the past 2 nights hitting the road, doing a little bit of gig work. I had not done it like really since I started. I started.
I was going to say August.
Yeah, yeah. Since I've been going to this PWI university, like it dawned on me, wow, I've been going to bed at a decent hour, and I'm starting to pay for it now because I was out there Friday night going into Saturday, and I was fighting sleep like I don't know what, and that is the most dangerous type as far as being behind the wheel goes. Like you don't want to be in that position where you're feeling a little tired. Now, normally I'm the type of person, if I get behind the wheel, it's like just get me behind the wheel. Get me behind the wheel. Give me my music. I'm good. Like seriously, I'm good. I'll get to where I need to go. I'll suck it up. Like I'm good. So Friday night, while I was out there, I got like a burst of energy. I guess it was like my second win. And it lasted me until I would say maybe, God, I think it lasted me about 3 hours. And then, like, I won't say that it was a poosh crash, but it was, it's really time to turn back around. Because we don't need to, like, okay, all right. So I listened finally to myself, and it was my body and all that. I said, okay, all right, fine. And then Saturday night, going into this morning, I was out there, and actually, I was more tired Saturday night than I was Friday night. And I mean, not for nothing, I've been working on a couple of assignments, doing some studying and all that. I'm trying to get ready for a midterm that's coming up for one of my classes this coming week. So I said, okay, well, I really don't want to, like, the holidays are here. Could use the extra money. Let me just go ahead and, let me go ahead and let me do this. So I just decided, well, I'll just play it smart. I'll just, I'll just take it easy, try to stay local, and, it'll be good. So once again, I made it about, I would say, 3 hours, and I was more tired than I was the previous night. And then make matters worse, I started having visibility issues where I'm out there on the road, and all of a sudden it started raining. And our weather. I watched the weather last. It was on Friday. They didn't mention anything about rain whatsoever. No rain in the forecast for the week. If anything, they just said cloudy. That's it. They ain't say nothing about no chance for shower. They ain't say jack. So I'm out there early this morning, and it was like somebody just turned on a faucet, and it was just whoosh. I'm like, what the hell? And I remember, I came across this one person while I was out, and I said, hey, did you watch the news? Did they even say that we were supposed to get rain? And they were like, nah. Weird, right? I'm like, yeah, it is weird. Like, what the hell? So visibility started getting really bad, and I said, yeah, I'm good. I'll tell you, it was a two-parter. The first part was definitely the visibility, but the second part was I did this turn. I had a protected turn. I went on the light. I thought I had enough room for my turn. I thought I set myself up good. My back wheel ends up going up on I get, what do you call that? The median?
Curb.
The curb? Oh,
Well, if you're doing a protected turn and
yeah.
it was,
That little middle part. That's like an island.
oh no, that's a median.
Yeah, I went up. My back wheel went up on the median.
Oh boy.
And then I said, yeah, it's time for me to head on home because I can't really see too good out here. So that was the end of that. I don't miss doing the gig work. I gotta be honest, I don't. I don't. Cause I'm reminded what I went through the past couple of nights. It's like, wow. And then, cause I am on a regular sleeping schedule now. I'm used to going to bed at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Now, that might sound kind of late for some of you guys, but in the Sanders household,
That's early.
that's early. That's pretty good, especially if it means I'm getting up at 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's like significant progress and all that. So,
Significant.
yeah, oh, I didn't tell you. One thing that was really, really just stupid. You younger drivers out there, you parents that got the young drivers now and everything, make sure you teach, or if it's you that's doing this, correct this bad behavior. Please, I implore you. I don't care if it's 3 in the afternoon or if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. When you are driving on a road, I don't care if the speed limit is 40, 50, or 60. But if it is a single lane, meaning, you know, it's a single lane, right? Traffic is going in one direction. There is no reason for you to try to jump in front of the car that's ahead of you. Now, if you are on a two-way street, but traffic is going in both directions because of that solid long line, there's no braking. I don't care how comfortable you're like, oh, hey, I can just go on ahead and I'm just going to blaze past this other car because I know I can go much quicker than them. Please don't do that. Don't do that. I saw two things that were very disturbing last night. First of all, I was going about maybe 50 miles an hour. Didn't rain yet. I was probably like my first hour out there on the road. And I'm going, what the hell? Like, I'm looking out my rearview mirror. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, nah. And it's like, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going, nah, I'm seeing shit. And then I signal my intent to turn and I'm getting ready to turn. And I'm like, nah, I'm not crazy. So 1 o'clock in the morning, mofo didn't have his lights on.
Oh my goodness.
So just imagine going 50 plus miles an hour and you got a car that ain't got no lights on. Ooh, that's a bad accident waiting to happen. So I purposely slowed my car down and stayed in my lane. I waited till he drove past, or they drove past. And then I got immediately behind them. and I kept flashing my lights to kind of let
Right.
him
To
know,
say you don't have any lights.
right. And he peeped it out, or they peeped it out.
Oh, okay.
They turned their lights on. I'm like, okay, cool. So going back to what I initially said, so then later on, I'm on this joint where you can go about 55 miles an hour to about 60. Uh, two-way two-way traffic, obviously, right? But there's no braking. You can't jump in the other lane at all.
Right.
So I'm going 60. I BS you not. This car just comes out of nowhere. Like I'm out there on the road, life is a highway. I want to drive it all night long. I'm just kicking back. I'm just and the next thing I know, where the hell did you come from? Like all of a sudden. And this dude, this was the first time as long as I have been a driver, and I've been a driver now, what, 2+ years?
2+ years.
I've been a driver now 2+ years. This was the first, you know me, I'm Joe Cool. Tams and anybody that rides with me will tell you. I mean, they be seeing like, Lee, look out! And it's like, what's the problem? Like seriously, what's the problem? I just seem like you. I'm like, I got it, chill, right? I am Joe Cool. Okay, I blew out a tire recently. I was Joe Cool. I was like middle of the freeway. I blew a tire. I was Joe Cool. Oh, blew a tire. All right, let's see what's going on here. Right, I'm Joe Cool. First time ever, not exaggerating, last night that I was concerned for my safety and well-being because this car act like they were gonna ram into me and get me off the road.
Wow.
And instead, what they ended up doing, they, they were riding me, and then they decided, and this was all like within the span of like 15 seconds, and then they decided about 10 seconds into literally about to bump into me, like rear end me. They decide, okay, I'm gonna jump in front of this car, and then jump to the next lane, which you cannot do because there's no breakage at all, and then cut in front of me. So I see this car do its thing, and I just go, okay, let me just ease up off the pedal. Let me go right to the brake joint, the brake pad, and I'm thinking, please, Lord, just. And luckily, my prayers were answered, and it was just, yeah, yeah, yeah. It just it kind of shook me. Very seldom I'm shook behind. But this was a first. This was definitely a first. I was going to say very rare that, but no, like this was a first that I was actually kind of spooked.
Right. So yesterday I had to do a bit of driving myself. I had, to go visit a friend. So, and this particular person lives to get to where you need to be. They live in absolutely suburbia, like not even, whole cluster of houses kind of thing. It's pretty much a 2-lane road with the, double lines in the middle. So I I was on 495, and then there was a few things where I was like, yeah, that was stupid, and very dangerous. And I was like, okay, what have you. Then I get to the 2-lane road, obviously one lane going, one way, one lane going the opposite direction. So it was a car in front of me, and then the car behind me. And this car was just so pressed to get from out from behind me and this other car. The other car wasn't exactly, doing anything in, any speeding, what have you. So he crosses the double lines. And now, mind you, probably about 500 feet, maybe 800 feet, there's a big truck coming. Well, this man decides to, or woman, I don't know who it was, decides to get out from under behind me, cross the double lines into the oncoming traffic of where the truck is coming. Not only does he not get in out from under me and then gets behind the car in front of me, no, he surpasses me and the other car to then quickly get back over into the respected lane while the truck literally is still coming. And when I say quickly, it was going to be, oh crap, I'm going to be smashed. So, and I said, my goodness, there's one thing to take a chance, but there's so many chances that people take that they're not, as all of us as drivers, you have to learn and judge your distance and your time. And there's a lot of people, I feel, that are making a emotional response decision and not judging the distance and the time. And I saw at least three, for instance, that was just one. I saw three, for instances, yesterday on my trip to and from that was like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
It just got me. It just got me wondering, like, the different type of people that's out there on the road. And I've always been a firm believer that unless you are working late night, you probably are up to no good. Maybe you might be, doing some. Unless, okay, let me clean it up just a little bit more, to kind of really lay it out there where my mindset is. Unless you're doing some type of late night gig work, or maybe you're doing some type of traveling to see a friend or family, you're traveling between states or whatever. Okay, like that's okay, cool. Maybe you're coming home from an event or something, being with friends. Unless you're doing one of those things late night, you're
Why are
probably
you out
up.
on the road?
Why are you on the road? You're probably up to no damn good. 9 times out of 10, you're probably intoxicated. You probably are under the influence. Look, something that's become real popular besides all that type of reckless driving. Look at what's happening with the mofos that love seeing that traffic. Well, they don't love that traffic is backed up, but when they see that traffic is backed up, they decide, like
Oh, yeah.
a-holes, to use the
Ride the shoulder.
emergency lanes. Yeah, they ride the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
They just ride that out thinking, oh, I'm going to get to where I need to go, to hell with. And then they're
Mm-hmm.
crying afterwards when the police catches them.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Because it's
know.
illegal to do
Because
so.
it's illegal to do so. It's just reckless, man. Just please, people, especially during these holidays, just try to be smarter and definitely more safer. Your car might be able to do, uh, you know, your car might be able to go from 0 to 30 miles per hour in like 5 seconds. Like that's great. That's really really great. But if you're not gonna have the patience and the candor to be out there, as Tams always said to me when she was first teaching me how to drive, she was like, "You're not just driving for yourself; you're driving for others." And if you can't have that patience, if you can't have that mindset, please let somebody else do the driving. Don't do the driving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just figure out some other way to get yourself where you need to go, or at least put
Mm-hmm.
yourself in a position where you could be in a better head state, where you can think more
Mm-hmm.
clearly. Because to your point, there are a lot of us, we do drive with emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we want to admit that or not, a lot of us do drive with emotion. Speaking of emotion, emotions definitely had been felt for 43 years. As I was at 43 years, that'd be something. No, 43 days, as the government shutdown finally came to an end, and the bill extends funding for most federal agencies at FY 2025 levels through January 30th of next year, 2026, for three specific areas: United States Department of Agriculture, Food and Drug Administration, and the legislative branch, United States Department of Veteran Affairs and Military Construction. The bill provides full year FY 2026 funding. It also guarantees retroactive pay for furloughed federal employees and those who worked without pay during the shutdown. So I'm looking at you, federal workers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you, everybody involved working at the TSA. Like, we need you guys because,
Mm-hmm.
oof. Yeah, yeah.
That was a rough 43 days.
Yeah, yeah. It also reverses layoff notices issued during the shutdown period for federal agencies and prohibits new reductions in force up to January 30th of 2026. The deal includes a promise, but and I really want to stress this because this is where it's like this is where the Democrats, and I get why people are upset. You know, we had eight Democrats that basically defected over to the Republicans. Some of these Democrats were very consistent in their voting. Some were just like, we just need to get this open. This isn't fair
Yeah,
to the
it is.
Americans. But then you had others that were talking a really good game. Hell no. Stick it to the Republicans. Hell no. And then all of a sudden, they different mindset, you know, girl, you need a change of mind. A little D'Angelo song. And and then when they're confronted, you know, why did they change their mind? It's like now, like it's just bipolar moment
Oh,
basically.
wow.
The deal includes a promise. This is what the Democrats. I really want to stress this. This is what the Democrats were trying to do here. We told you guys for weeks what the Democrats, because even Tams kind of fell into the trap where she was like, you know, the Republicans, what the hell? And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, understand something. The Democrats, there was some stuff that went down basically, you know, nice, pretty little, not to bore you guys, just to kind of spoon feed you healthcare. There were some issues that they had concerning healthcare, and they were hitting up the Republicans going, this needs to change, this needs to change, this needs to change. And the Republicans basically were like, yo, we got the House and the Senate. We already voted on this. No can do. Like, now, if you want to maybe bring up something new that wasn't covered in what we voted for, like, we're down with that. But you're regurgitating stuff that was already voted on. So that's not going to work. But Democrats, they were doing this weird thing where, you know, no, we want this provision, we want this, we want this. So as part of the deal, this is what the Democrats got: a promise, but not a guarantee, of a future vote in December on extending the Enhanced Affordable Care Act premium tax credits, though the bill does not extend them right now. So that would be like me saying, I promise you,
Yeah.
I'm going to take you to Chuck E. Cheese.
Ain't nobody ever said when.
Right.
That could be in 30 years from now.
So why does this matter, folks? So this gave Congress more time until January 30th to work out the rest of the annual budget instead of shutting the government down again immediately. This also protects several key programs, which we already highlighted, and it basically sent the signal. You know, if, in case you're not really paying attention, we're funding the government right now, but we still have some unresolved issues, right? So that's basically it in a nutshell. So, I mean, it's good, but then it's kind of bad. And I know that for a lot of federal employees, they did not like this.
No.
They understood what was going on. And for a lot of federal employees, they were like, well, okay, then maybe this is the change that needs to happen. Okay, like do whatever you need to do. Like I need my paycheck, but at the same time,
Right.
okay, if there's going to be some good that's going to come from out of this, okay, fine, I understand. You talk to people that are on SNAP benefits, and when they were affected by this, they were pretty pissed off. But even they were going, well, if something good can come out of this, then you
Mm-hmm.
know what? It's all worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And to basically just get, well,
We
well,
didn't resolve anything
well,
really.
we did a little something, but this little promise thing, that's like, Daddy, 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 will you take a look at my homework? Yeah, yeah, I guess, sure, sure. When? I don't know, hun, but I promise I'll look at your homework. Run along now, go play.
So for anybody for anybody who doesn't know, I guess Lee Sanders before UMD and MC, that was one of his promises. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm going to do it. Oh yeah.
I'd have been great for politics.
3 weeks later, it's still in the same spot, or we still haven't done whatever it was. So yeah.
So, speaking of SNAP benefits, let's talk about that because SNAP benefits people, they have been affected and by this as well. Oh, you wanted to say something else? Go ahead. Go ahead.
About SNAP benefits or about
No, the situation, because it looked like you were getting ready to say something else.
so it's I'm really glad that all of the American people are not are not being affected anymore by a government shutdown because Washington wants to play politics. Because there's so many people that were affected, and there were so many people that lost
Mm.
things, that it was like, okay, well, I mean, that's good for y'all, but really, you don't, and it was almost, for some people, it's like, oh yeah, well, they don't give a shit about us. And there was a lot of people who felt that way. And that's, these people are supposed to be working for the American people. And you literally are like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the way it seemed.
Yeah. I was alluding to the SNAP benefits earlier. I can't imagine the frustration that a lot of the people that have SNAP benefits are going through right now because the USDA under Trump has announced that everyone receiving SNAP will have to reapply or re-verify their eligibility.
Yeah, I remember that report.
Specifically, in an interview, Brooke Rollins, Agriculture Secretary, said the plan is to have everyone reapply for their benefits, make sure that everyone's that's taking a taxpayer funded benefit through food stamps, that they literally are vulnerable and can't survive without it. And the administration frames this move as part of a crackdown on fraud and unnecessary benefit rolls. Now, what remains unclear right now, they've not provided full details on how the reapplication process will work, when it begins, exactly who will have to do it, and what the forms will look like. Some are arguing that there's going to be a ton of recipients that already must recertify periodically every 6 to 12 months under state rules. So now the announcement might be amplifying what's already in place rather than a completely new requirement. So if you or someone is impacted by the SNAP benefits, you want to keep an eye out for official notices from your state's human services, social service departments, because it seems like there's definitely going to be an issuing of new forms. And you also want to make sure that your income, your household size, your work status, all that is up to date, because that tends to be what the USDA is emphasizing right now. And then also understand that even though the federal announcement, I mean, this is some huge news that you're hearing, the actual process that is to come, it keep in mind it's going to differ state to state because every single state is going to be able to address this within their own discretion, basically, to a certain extent, right? To a certain extent. So usually, from what I've been learning in government, usually, let's say there is this, I'm trying to break it down in layman's terms. Let's say you're the state of Illinois and basically there's X amount of money that could be coming your way so you could do what you need to do with maybe infrastructure or maybe what you need to do with just think of whatever. And basically, I can't remember if it's the I can't remember if it's the House or if it's like Congress in general, but basically you'll get some scenarios where, okay, Illinois, here's this money, no strings attached, do with it what you need to do
Mm-hmm.
for,
For the
your
state.
infrastructure, for your da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be situations where, okay, Illinois, here's this money, but you got to do this first, and once you meet these conditions, then we'll give you the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hope that with this current administration, it's not going to be a case where no, 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 you must comply with how we're trying to do these SNAP benefits reapplying, or we're
Mm-hmm.
going to hold X amount of money hostage because
Mm-hmm.
we've seen this administration.
Do that.
We've
Yeah.
seen them essentially do this
Mm-hmm.
already. It's interesting. I'm reminded of a report that I had saw in my journalism class a couple of weeks ago, where we were looking at the way the main topic was framing.
Mm-hmm.
We're all about framing, and we were shown two different reports. We were shown one report where a news reporter went under investigation, undercover investigation, to exploit these restaurants that were continuing to have health violation after health violation.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people, employees in the back that were eating their food, sucking on their fingers and all that, and they were preparing customers' foods with those same hands, not washing them and all that. And if you didn't see that, you had employees that, like, I remember seeing this one clip in this, it was like a 5 minute segment that they did. They had this one employee who was making a salad, looked like a chicken Caesar salad for a customer. So he's taking the meat, the chicken meat, he's eating some of it, sucking on his fingertips, and then going back in for the chicken with his hands, and then pouring it uh, on the plate for the customer. I mean, it was just all this disgusting crap that just kept going down. And at the very end of it, and it was really cool how ultimately the news organization, how they ultimately confronted the owners of these restaurants that they were investigating. I mean, they were freaking embarrassed, and
I'm sure.
obviously they didn't want to give any interviews because they knew what time it was,
Mm-hmm.
and they did get shut down and all of that. And we were asked, "Hey, is this was this good framing? Was this good reporting?" And we're like, "Yeah, that's good reporting because." And then the way that we had to think about this, it was like, okay, so what were the positives of how this investigation was done that justifies why the reporters did what they needed to do? First of all, was the reporter justified for going undercover? And we're like, yeah, because they basically heighten and show that there is a legit health concern that's out there and everything. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
lose track of the main topic, people. Just stay with me here because it connects. We then were shown a segment where there was this reporter that was going on Craigslist finding people that were selling their food stamps. Okay. Okay, you see how it ties back now, people? So, and the way this reporter had essentially set up the framing for this story, it was basically, hey, your tax dollars, which is supposed to go to the needy, people that need food stamps and all that, well, it's a different story. You've got people that are selling their food stamps and exploiting the system all on your tax dollar. And so he goes on Craigslist. He finds this woman that's selling her food stamp card, and she's like, he goes through the whole, and it just freaking comes off so over sensationalized, because they got him calling, and he's like, hey, this is Jeff. You selling the food stamps, the food stamp card there? Yeah. I'm interested. And she's like, okay, well, my card's got like $80 on it, so you can buy yourself bread, vegetables, whatever. And he's like, okay, and how much cash do you want? How much cash are you asking for? Oh, I only want $30. And it's like, and so him and his camera guy, they're doing like this fake me out ass sting operation where the guy's in a van, and he's recording and all that. And they have the decoy person come and meet the husband and the wife. And then the reporter runs out of the van with his microphone. Jeff, da da da, NBC, Pittsburgh News. What are you doing? And you're like, what do you mean? What am I doing? Like, it's illegal to be selling your food stamp card, and he was just sensationalizing like that. And myself and my group of classmates, we were asked afterwards by our professor, okay, so what did you think about this report? And we were like, no, this was bad. Like, this was just all about entertainment. That's really what this was, And then wait, we're going to make this blanket argument. Stay with me. Hopefully, you guys have stayed with me. You see how this connects back to what we just were talking about, the main theme here. But it's like, wait a minute, and we all said the same thing. Like, we're really going to say that because of like two or three or four people that are selling their food stamp cards and for some cash and all that, giving you the access to their pens, so you can do what you need to do, all that. Like, we're gonna say that because of these people, they basically are uh are the problem with the SNAP benefits program as a whole. We're gonna say that all people that are on SNAP benefits,
don't need it, and are essentially using it for cash profit.
right?
So
I,
I
I promise you, the president and his administration, I promise you two things that are true. They were looking at reports like that, and let's be real. Let's be real. This administration is the same administration. Oh, look at these homeless people. Disgusting. Get rid of them. Lock them up. I don't want to see them anywhere near the White House. So that tells you all you need to know about, right?
it's not for this administration. It is absolutely about making them not appear in the line sight because that doesn't fit his demographic. Number one. Number two, do SNAP benefits need to be overhauled? Yeah,
They do.
they do.
They do.
There's no qualms about that at all.
Yeah.
There are people absolutely taking advantage of the system. That's fact.
That is fact.
There are absolutely people that are. Listen, as the person at this point in time who pays majority of the bills and buys majority of the food because I'm wanting better for us in the long run, these prices out here ain't no joke
Yeah.
as far as food and everything else.
Yeah.
But food especially. I kid you not, guys. on a monthly basis, I'm spending anywhere from 6 to 700 a month
Yeah.
on food. And guys, being fully transparent, that's literally for the two of us and maybe, some, company that comes over every now and then. And our three fur daughters is 6 to 700 a month. So that being said, there are probably a heck of a lot more people who need more help now than say they did, 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, said part thing number one. But really, it's more about, yes, does the program need to be overhauled? But it's exactly like what this administration has done with everything else. Instead of trying to fix it, they just either cut it and do away with it, or do something else
Mm.
that never fixes the problem. Never. And it's like, okay, well, if you want to reform it, make it better, great,
Mm.
fantastic. But I don't know that reapplication and all of this other jumping through hoops and so on and so forth is truly the answer.
I don't know. I'm with you. I agree with you. It's a very delicate and slippery slope to be going down. Do I have faith that the right people will be exploited? I do. I do, but I also feel like there's going to be quite a few casualties that
Oh, yeah.
are doing it right. And, now look, full transparency here. I know some people, they want to be like, yo, man, it's messed up what this current administration is doing, messing around with people, with the SNAP benefits and all that. Look, 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 look. I will throw my own mother, who I have not spoken to in a couple of decades. I will throw her ass under the bus because I seen it with my own two eyes, and her friends, they would be exploiting the hell out of food stamps, SNAP benefits. So you talking to somebody that like, look, let me tell you something. I'm gonna keep it on the real with y'all. I'm gonna keep it on the real with y'all. I should have brought this up more too during the conversation that we had in class, but it for some reason it didn't present itself. Maybe because it was a case where we were more focused on just analyzing the situation at hand and not making it be about
A
us and
specific.
our experiences.
Right.
But just I can remember growing up and no bull. One of the main reasons why my mother did not marry my dad was because she wasn't trying to lose her food stamp benefits. She
Mm-hmm.
figured that no, 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 no. If we can just continue to have that come in and I can continue to have my dad work and
Mm-hmm.
then combine, their money that way cuz like I remember I was right here on this show a couple of weeks ago. I can remember when it was grocery shopping time, we would do this definitely once a month, every month, guaranteed. We would take her food stamps,
Mm-hmm.
like literally, like almost all her food stamps. When she was doing it right, utilizing it right,
Mm-hmm.
she would take all her food stamps. And I couldn't even tell you how much it was back then in the 80s. I mean, if I were to speculate, my God, please, I used to know the number, but now I don't. But I know it was a nice little amount. I definitely know it was. If I had to educate a guess, maybe 200,
Mm-hmm.
maybe possibly 300, maybe
Yeah, 2 to 300,
maybe
but
maybe. Well, hang on,
going.
hang on, hang on,
Mhm.
hang on. So she would take that, and when my dad was working at Sears Tower, he would he'd get his paycheck every other week. And so, man, you're talking about basically like $200 to $300 in food stamps, and then my dad's throwing on top of that like about $200 to $300. We had
No, it was
food.
set.
We were fucking set. We had so much groceries. I can remember I would have a cart.
Mm-hmm.
My mom would have a cart. My dad would have two carts, and there would usually be a fifth cart that we would leave with the cashier until we loaded what we needed to load up. Then we would go for that fifth cart. So we were typically always pushing 4 to 5 carts
Holy
worth of
shit.
food. We had to do 2 trips with my dad's Cadillac. We'd have to do 2 trips. Luckily, we lived like about 10 minutes away from the grocery store, Jules, and we would. I remember I'd hop somehow. I'd be buried under a sea of groceries in the car, and then me and my dad we would unload, and then we'd go back and pick up my mom, and the rest of the groceries. We would do it like that. So I've seen when it's done right, when you're okay, you're using the food stamps for what you're supposed to be using it for, but at the same time, I've also seen the exploitation of loopholes where oh, they're able to do all this. Oh, now I know why my dad really didn't have stuff in the closet because back then we would have people that would come by, you know, for my mom, oh, you gotta make sure, single parent, ha ha ha, all that other stuff. And then I can also remember when my mom started selling her food stamp books, and her friends, they would, they'd be doing it. And it's like, what the hell? Like, that's not what it's for. You're
Right.
supposed to, like, what the hell? So, yeah, I am all fine. And then the thing that also irritates me, and I'm glad that things have kind of changed a little bit now compared to way back then. But a mofo back in the day, they used to just go, all right, well, I'm getting my food stamps, so I'm getting help from the government. I don't need to do nothing else. And
True.
I'm set for the rest of my life. And remember, we were of the generation where oh, just have another kid.
Oh yeah.
Your food stamps amount, your benefits and all,
Just
it'll
go
go
up.
up. It'll go up. And the government kind of caught on to that. Took them a minute, but they kind of caught on to that. They were like, "No, no, no, we gonna put a curb stomp on that."
Right.
So I don't mind them when the system is done right. I don't mind it when okay, we need to tweak this. We need to get rid of some bad apples because I've seen, and I know you've got your own stories. I've definitely seen it firsthand, so I'm definitely for yeah. Do what you need to do because there are mofo's. Like I said, I will throw my own mother under the bus. Don't give a fuck. It's the truth. Yeah, people like her, yes, exploit.
Well, the thing is, but also going back in that timeline, food wasn't anywhere near as expensive as it is now.
No,
Anywhere.
no.
Like I remember there was one time me and my mom and dad went to Food Lion near our current house at that time. And that was about 30 minutes away, but food was, a little bit cheaper there and so on and so forth. So, and I definitely remember the carts. We had two carts and they were both filled to the brim. And that at that time, and that was probably late 80s. And it was $200, but we had two carts that were literally about to overflow. And I thought that I had like died and gone to heaven because I had everything I wanted. I mean, like everything I could think of was in that cart, and just fun times. But in reference to that, but that wasn't about Snap. That was just two hardworking parents that provided. But still, in reference to there are people who do exploit. But then there are many families that are doing it right too because they just need that little extra help. You
Mm-hmm.
know, maybe they're not on anything else but Snap,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like okay, well, but yeah, it's a definite source of contention for a lot of people at this very moment.
It is. It is. Speaking of news and stories and all that, I said I was going to talk about this just a little bit more here on the show. So I've been working on this deep fake AI story for one of my classes as part of a media participation project. And I got to tell you guys, it's been a interesting experience because so for this media participation project, we had a couple of options. One of the options was we could either work with our local campus radio station. I didn't want to do that because I felt, well, I'm still pretty fresh off of that whole knowledge. If I need to go to that, I can go to that at any time. I'm good. Then the other option was shadow a journalist. I was like, ooh. So I actually, hit up somebody that I had met at a FaceTime with the Pros event. You got to basically go, uh, you know, face to face with a lot of the local news anchors, reporters, news directors, producers. They got workshops, all that. It's really cool thing. Definitely up my alley since I'm trying to get my bachelor's in journalism now and everything. And I tried to one of the people that I ended up befriending at this workshop just happens to be seen weekly on our local NBC4 Washington D.C. station. And so I hit her up with an email and I said, "Hey, I'd be very interested if you could be my mentor and all of that. I definitely need one." Da, 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 da. And she was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So she was the first person I thought about when it came to the media participation project. I hit her up. I didn't get anything. I'm like, hmm. Then I see some stuff that had happened with her in the news, and I'm going, ooh, well, I'm not really sure after this. I really want to have her as a mentor. Basically, there was a story that she reported, and it blew up in her face big time on social media. I mean, it blew up big time. It was really bad. How bad was it? It was so bad that now she rarely posts on social media. I just said it's a she. Sorry about that, but that's about as all you're gonna get from me. That's all you're gonna get from me. You might be able to figure out now who it is, but that's all the information you're gonna get out of me. But yeah, that story had blew up big time. So then I was like, oh well, I was thinking about our Fox Five WTTG news station affiliate out here. I said, oh well, there's this one reporter. Like I've loved their work for years. Let me hit them up and see. And I got a reply from them promptly. They loved the idea. They ran it by their bosses though, and basically it was a whole liability thing. I'm going. So then I looked at another option, which was work with a campus newspaper. I said, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let me, and they gave me a list of like, here's all the campus outlets that's available to work with for this project. All of them, ties here to the university. All their main bases of operations are here on campus. So it was like, there you go. Like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't want to go for the obvious one, which is the Diamondback, because I just felt
Hmm.
everybody and their mama was gonna go flock to that one. So I decided to go, check somebody else out. And I gotta tell you, a very interesting experience as somebody that, it's funny because it's funny, not funny. I remember my professor in one of my journalism classes. He had asked us, "What do you all want in a newsroom?" It was interesting to hear everybody's different responses. I know I jumped in on that, and one of the things that I had said was accountability, and he was like, elaborate on that. I said, well, if I'm putting some type of a live reporting of a story out there, and I told him what had happened with a reporter out here by the name of John Almost. John Almost was covering the decision 2025 races out here for governor, lieutenant governor, and what's the guy's name? The new lieutenant governor that Jay something. He basically had said in a text message, put couple of bullets in whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when they went to John Almost for his report to find out, because this was election decision night. So when they went to John Almost to basically hear his report and the reaction to him winning and all this other stuff, John Almost, he misspoke on that whole text message situation, and like 5 minutes after they took a commercial break, they came back. They did like one or two more quick stories, and then they were very quick to point out, hey, we just want to make a correction that our reporter John almost had said about da 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 da. It wasn't a case of XYZ. It was actually, and I had relayed that to my professor in the classroom. I said, accountability. If I mess
Mhm.
up, somebody that's there to kind of help, because it's not my intent to drop the ball and mess up, but I also want to make sure that for accuracy, we're giving the viewers the correct information. We don't need to be misleading them in any capacity. And when I think about what I want in a newsroom, that definitely was like one of the things that was just screaming to me. So it was interesting working with this one campus, this one news campus outlet, because they are very short staffed, very very understaffed. They must have, like, I would say, four to maybe six people that work for them. And I say that to say, I came up with this really good story. I made my pitch to the editor, and the editor was like, "Oh, go for it. Yeah, go ahead. You do your thing." And he was like, "Have you ever done this type of work before?" I said, "No, not to this extent. No, like I did some stuff many, 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 many years ago. Maybe for my high school newspaper. I was just basically giving a review for latest round of comic books I read or whatever, but I've never done anything to this extent." We agreed on a deadline that I would have this piece ready to go. Gave my editor my article. I then said, "Hey, I'd appreciate you checking it out. Let me know about any revisions, like anything that needs to be worked on." To which they hit me back and they said, "Oh, well, we give priority to our paid writers, but you'll be able to check out the status of your article by checking out this link." It was kind of like a Domino's pizza tracker kind of link. It's kind of funny the way they got it set up and everything. So I'm like, okay, all right, cool. He said, "I'll check your article out when I can." I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't think it was going to take him 20 days to get back to me. So this was insane. Stay with me here because there's the main reason why I'm bringing this up and everything. So yeah, 20 days go by. And so literally the project was due. Wasn't the project due earlier this week? I'm pretty sure the project was due, I think, Tuesday. Either Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. This
I
week
feel like it was
this I
Tuesday.
feel like that as well, yeah. So I no, it was due Wednesday. It was due
Oh, but
Wednesday, but I turned it
that
in
person
Tuesday. Yeah.
got back to you Tuesday night.
Right. So I ended up this past Tuesday, a couple of days ago, Tuesday afternoon. I'm like, okay, this project is due in like less than 24 hours. Let me go ahead, just finalize this, turn it in. And I just gave my professor a heads up on, hey, look, I came across this roadblock. I came across this. I came across that. Came across this. This is what went down. I basically was letting him know I'm not making any excuses. I'm just letting you know this is what I dealt with. But I also told him from a learning perspective, yo, I came out of it, as far as what I want in a future newsroom that I want to work for. Like, this is what I don't want. And he sent me a heartfelt email letting me know basically he hears me. don't worry, like I'm not going to be penalized for, because basically, as far as he's concerned, those are elements out of my control,
Absolutely.
right? And so before I went to bed Tuesday night, I finally get this email from the editor, and the editor is like, "Oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and you want to look at this, and you want to look at," and I'm thinking to myself, dude, where were you 20 days ago?
Right.
Where were you, when it counted the most? Like, if you would have at least hit me up a week prior
You could have probably made those corrections.
and resubmitted it, and then, because my goal was to get the article published.
Right.
That's why I'm tripping over this. I wanted to get the article published. I mean, the experience is great, don't get me wrong, but icing on the cake if I can get the article published. And so he was like, "Oh, if you want to work on this." No, matter of fact, he was like, "Yeah, work on this and then just send it back." And I'm thinking to myself, dude, I'm getting ready to go into finals.
Right.
So I sent him a nice email and I said, hey, I really appreciate, I stayed face. I was like, I appreciate the feedback. Obviously I didn't, because I didn't even bother really looking at what this guy had to say. I was already dismissive at that point, because it was like, dude, you're late. I already turned the damn thing in. I turned it in at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and you're now hitting me up at 10 o'clock at night telling me this is what I need to work on, and my project is due the next day. I'm like, this doesn't help me. So now, silver lining. So my professor ends up grading it, and it's like night and day. My professor ends up giving me the maximum points allowed. So I got 25 out of 25 for the assignment. And my professor is like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but my professor is like, yeah, you did go through a lot of crap dealing with this article, no doubt about it. Like, but your writing, where you are, you got the gift. Like, just keep at it. And honestly, if you want to be in this industry doing this type of writings, like, you're gonna excel very well. And so that was really gratifying for me, because it was one of those deals where, well, you read it and you even
Mm-hmm.
said yourself, hey, it's a good article.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It
i'll let
was.
i'll let Tabs tell you, because I've been talking long enough.
So, in the gist of the article, basically the article was about deep fakes, and kind of I guess in its literal form, basically about how that affects, one's persona. As you have things of wrestlers who essentially are in videos saying things they never said, and that type of thing. So, and really, it got into the logistics of the legal aspect of it and how that would affect the person's persona, character, and what have you. I found it as a very interesting read, and things I didn't know before. I will tell you the format and the layout was great, easy to follow, so on and so forth. Everything that one would look for in an article. And for most people, this wouldn't necessarily be a compliment, but if you can get my attention after I've worked a 13-hour day and keep me up to read anything, is a huge compliment. Because generally, if I am laying down and I'm getting ready to go to bed, most likely I'm going to fall asleep on whatever it is I'm reading. But the article was engaging, it was informative, it was well laid out, well written. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
So it was like, so here we have three different perspectives. Really home in on that. We just heard from Tams. I gave you the perspective of my professor. And then the perspective of the editor, which, by the way, the editor was trying to have me go more into a black direction because his whole thing was, hey, our audience is black. And I'm thinking to myself, oof, and just it was a weird. That was the other thing that I was like, okay, that's not something that I want to deal with in the newsroom. Now, what do I mean by that? Because I can hear you guys go, what do you mean by that, Lee? I don't want to just back myself into a corner where I'm only singling out a specific race. That's not what I want for potential readers. That's not what I want for potential folks that's going to be consuming the type of media work that I'm trying to put out there. I want for everybody. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're gay or you're trans. I don't care about your political affiliation. I only got one question. Do you like to read? Like, do you like news? Okay, well, try this. Tell me what you think. That's it. Like, that's like the one common ground, right? It's like, for if knowledge is power, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's all I care about. When we start doing these boxed in kind of
Mm-hmm.
deals, that's where it gets really, really, really tricky.
But the thing with that is, kind of knowing you actually, the thing is, guys, you really do have to feel it first before you really know what you do and don't want.
Right. And for me, this was definitely another one of those cases where, oh, now that you've pretty much told me your mission statement,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is definitely not what I intended,
Mm-hmm.
right? This isn't what I want
Mm-hmm.
in a future employer. This isn't what I want in a future newsroom and all that. So it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I'm good, thank you, right? And but I stayed face, and but will I work with that publication again? No, no. They're understaffed. That's the number.
Mm-hmm.
They are understaffed. They need help badly,
Yeah.
like badly.
Yeah.
Um,
It should have never taken him 20 days to get back to you.
no, no, no. Especially when you are associated with the university,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, no, you shouldn't be doing that type of
Yep.
stuff. Speaking of DC, I want to pick your brain on something a little wrestling related. So, as I've been telling listeners often on the past couple of weeks, we got Undertaker, who actually no, John Cena is who I was talking about the most. John Cena is going to be coming out here in DC December 13th for Saturday night's main event. It's going to be his retirement match and everything. But leading up to it, we got Undertaker, who's going to have a live edition of his 6 Feet Under podcast. It's going to be happening Friday, December 12th, 8 p.m. at 620 T Street, Northwest. And it is going to be at the Howard Theater. All ages are welcome. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Show is at 8 p.m. Check this out. Sale starts November 19th. That's Wednesday, November 19th. Check out these prices. General admission, $124. That's $100 plus $24 fee. First come, first serve. Seating behind the premier floor row seat section. What about that premier floor row seat section? $382. That's $350 plus $32. First come, first served seating exclusively in the front section. Premier balcony row seat, that's $63. Basically $50 plus a $13 fee. Balcony bar seat, first come, first serve, $63. You get the gist when it comes to the base pay and the fee. Premier floor booth for four. $90. Booths are pre assigned and your party will be directed to your booth at arrival. You must buy the entire booth, and the price listed is per seat. So don't be thinking, wow,
No.
$90 for 4 seats. No, no. And then Premier Balcony for four. Same deal like what I just read to you before. That's $90. They also have a Premier Balcony booth for six people. $90. Your thoughts on these prices?
Uh,
And again, this is for the Undertaker. Want to make sure that because there's a big difference here. This is for a live taping of the Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to be getting him and his wife Michelle McCool, because Michelle McCool has been his new co-host for some months now. After they basically kicked out Undertaker's former co-host, guy that basically helped create the damn thing with Undertaker, Mark Calloway. Not to make it be about Michelle McCool, but like I've seen her, and she doesn't add any value, any significant value. If anything,
versus.
she really disrupts. Okay, so versus, so picture it like this. Picture it like this, and everybody just close your eyes. Everybody just close your eyes. Picture Jim Cornette and Brian Lass. I'll use them as a fantastic example. Phenomenal. I mean, they play off of each other extremely well.
Yeah, they do.
Extremely well. Now, for those of you that may remember, I'll use another example otherwise. Remember Jim Cornette's, like one of his original co-hosts before Brian Last came in. It was a female, and she did not care for wrestling whatsoever. She let that be perfectly known. She did not care for wrestling at all. And I don't even know how she ended up being paired with Jim Cornette as a result of just having that whole mindset and everything. But she, what do you get when you take a person who is energetic, bombastic, charismatic, Jim Cornette? What do you get when you take an individual who will talk their head off about science? Huh? Now put these two together, and what do you get? One person carrying the whole goddamn show. Now, maybe some people might not remember the female. Okay, granted, I'll give you another example. I'll give you another example. It would be like, man, what is a really good example? I'm trying to think of like what's a really damn good example. What do you get? What do you get if you take, let's say, all right, everybody knows DX. Everybody knows DX. There's been different incarnations of DX. Some would say, look, what Shawn Michaels was doing when he was running around with DX, that was like really good. Other people will say, nah, man, it was really good when you had Triple H and China and Road Dogg and X Pac, and like, no, that was really the best incarnation of. Okay, but let's just go with the original trio: China, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. I'm gonna mention a name, and I love this dude, but it's no disrespect at all. Okay, take out Triple H and replace him with David Otunga.
Oh my.
Okay,
That's That's like a really watered down version. Um,
So Michelle McCool does not offer. Now, before anybody goes, Lee, you're being sexist. No, no, no. Hear me out. Hear me out. If Undertaker had to have a female co-host,
mhm.
I'd be like, okay, maybe Mickey James, um, Gail Kim, um, you know, maybe like a Trish Stratus, maybe a Lita, maybe um, maybe Jazz, maybe the Chocolate Southern Belle, Miss Jacqueline, maybe Victoria. Like, hey, how about ODB?
Huh.
ODB and
Huh.
Undertaker. Now that would be a very interesting little, I think that would.
Yeah.
Michelle McCool is flat, 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 flat. There's like it
There's nothing.
she disrupts the whole,
Okay.
and you can really tell that she is basically there, even though Undertaker Mark Calloway has said he has not pulled strings, and which is a walking contradiction in itself when you do your homework.
Mm-hmm.
um he says, I no, 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 I didn't do anything to put her in a position that, like, bullshit. But anyway, um she doesn't. She's a huge disruptor.
So I guess in what I was saying, which thank you for the clarification for
Yeah.
sure, but what I was saying when I said versus the person that helped him start the podcast.
Oh no, the person who helped him start the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
No, he was good.
Okay.
He was actually good. I like the dude. I can't think of his name right now, unfortunately, but no, he actually was good. I liked him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um. Yeah. That's interesting. It's not outrageous for the today's standards.
The prices.
Correct. The
Okay.
prices.
Okay.
For today's standards, it's not outrageous. Um, I think front row's a little high. But the other, it's not out. It's not outrageous. Versus John Cena, where you're in the nosebleeds and you're paying $400.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? I promise you, I think I can't even remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was under 250, and that's when it was for the both of us, and we literally were at the beginning of the bleachers
Mm-hmm.
for a Raw event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was like 250,
Mm-hmm. It was.
and it was like, oh, okay, well this makes sense, but coming up when we did prices, I just look at some of the prices now for events and you want to go to them. But it's like, say what? You want how much for what?
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a turnoff.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I told, Lee, and I'm pretty sure I think I said something about it on the show.
You did. You were thinking about getting
I
tickets.
was thinking about getting tickets, but I'm like, there is just no way. Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
And then goes the argument of, we're not going to get into today, but there goes the argument of when, these type of events are outpricing themselves.
Look, it's bad when I can't think of the wrestler or wrestlers that went on record recently, but there were definitely some WWE wrestlers that commented on the ticket prices situation, and they said, "Look, I feel where the fans are coming from. There used to be a time where I used to be able to get comp tickets for family and friends, and
I bet
now."
they've taken that away.
And they went on record. They said now I could try to get tickets, and I think that the comp tickets are secured, and then I find out a day or two before the event that my comp tickets have been sold
Now that's fucked up.
because they TKO's got to
Yeah, it's
they
like, oh, well, I'm going to make a profit versus not.
yeah.
But dang, you can't. Okay, so maybe you're doing comp tickets or whatever. Maybe you only do 10.
Mm,
But I mean, that's a whole nother level of greed.
yeah.
If you're going to promise something and do one thing one way, and then literally, because you know you can make it, that make that money. Ain't nobody, nobody is saying, yes, of course, you're in a business. You make money. That's what you do.
Right.
But there's a difference between making money to keep the business afloat, keep your employees paid, all of that as it pertains to it as a business. And then there's greed.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry, but TKO is greedy.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about it here on the show. I would love it if at least for these WWE events, since they're commanding what they're commanding, I would love it if they could do like what the Washington Nationals are doing, like some of the NBA basketball teams are doing when it comes to all things concession. They're like, okay, look, dollar hot dog, dollar cheeseburger, dollar pizza, dollar
Hell, that's the
drink.
least they could do.
You know, I mean, you're already raping the pockets, you know, parking, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't even tackled parking. You just paid what you
Right.
paid just to try to get your ass in the door for that
Right.
event. You still got to deal with parking.
Right. And that's that's if you don't take the metro.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Lee Sanders, you're done with the metro in any form or fashion, then you're looking at, okay, $20-$30 for parking.
Yeah.
In addition to your tickets, in addition to, okay, well, maybe I want a beer or I want a slice of pizza or whatever, then you're looking at another $30 to $50.
Speaking of food and all that, what the hell is going on with Wendy's?
I don't know what's going on with Wendy's.
Okay, so I've been keeping track of this and I've been taking down information. So apparently, there's been some significant declining sales in the United States as Wendy's reported that U.S. same store sales dropped about 4.7% in the third quarter of 2025 alone, and that overall global sales are down almost 3% for the quarter. The U.S. segment, which is obviously major for them, is under pressure as they're seeing fewer customer visits, inflation hitting food and labor costs. There's also notes
Mm-hmm.
of major store closures ahead as Wendy's announced that they will close a mid single digit percentage of their U.S. restaurants. I'm talking roughly anywhere from 200. Yes, I know. Anywhere from 200 to it's rough. I know, girls. It's rough. It really is. Um, they're going to be closing anywhere between 200 to 350 locations in the
Wow.
coming period, starting should be underway right now. This fourth quarter of
Well, I
2025,
will
and it's
tell you in reference to your comment,
mm,
I was coming back. No, I'm sorry. I was going down. I was in PG County yesterday and I had to go to a CVS and I passed a really recently refurbished or restored Wendy's. So basically, they did all the remaking and all that stuff. And there was like chain fence around it. And I thought, and in my head, when I passed it, I was like, oh, well, they just must be finishing renovations. Thought nothing more of it. Now that you've said that, that's a possibility because the area is not, I mean, it's not, bad, but it's not the greatest.
mhm.
So, I was, I was actually gonna make a joke in reference to it was basically because we stopped going, We actually used to be big supporters of Wendy's, and we actually don't go near as much as we used to. That's just personally for, what we do in a household, but that makes some sense. Some of the Wendy's I go to seem to be still as busy as they normally are. No issue. But then some you can tell, like, you go through that Wendy's, it's like, oh yeah, you can right through. No wait, no nothing, what have you. And so I know they're, trying, this and that with their menus and things of that nature. They certainly have been for certainly the last couple of months that I've seen. But that's disappointing to hear. It really is.
Let me give a
I mean, I
little.
grew up on Wendy's.
Yeah, let me give a little bit more information there because there's a lot to unpack here. So many of these stores that I mentioned that's going to be closing, which is between 200 to 350, it's being dubbed that these stores are underperforming locations. That's overall dragging down franchise profitability or brand performance, and they're also dubbing this as part of a new project called Project Fresh. Now, remember, their former CEO left their position July of this year. They got an interim CEO that's leading the turnaround right now. But even with this new strategy in place, the there's a this is definitely high risk for the company when it's all said and done. As one commentary piece flagged that the stock may be bottoming but highlighted risk, especially the aggressive buyback strategy, which may leave less capital for operations. And the investor sentiment overall seems cautious, with one public figure, Jim Cramer. I love the hell out of Jim Cramer. He reportedly said, you know how their slogan is, gotta have Wendy's? He says, and I quote, you gotta avoid Wendy's.
Nope.
So, look, I mean, for me, look, I don't think McDonald's is going anywhere. Like
No.
they are not. But what is so like, if I could pick on the interim CEO's brain for Wendy's, I would be like, dude, nobody said you got to monkey see and monkey do. You don't have to copy McDonald's and Burger King and go this whole industrialized route. Like for me, and you know this very well, and I think the listeners know this as well, when we were growing up and, there was something comforting and very friendly when you would see that Wendy's logo, right? When you would see that little red hair caricature, and you would see the red and the yellow LED colors, and you'd see the yellow that was in there, and the type of the fries that you would get in the yellow box, and maybe you'd get the frosty. You get the frosty in the little yellow cup, and there was just something that, like, for the longest time, it seemed kind of nostalgia in a good way, good old fashioned, just the way founder Dave Thomas had initially, did it and everything. I think that where Wendy's really went wrong is, again, not just monkey see, monkey do by going industrialized, but where they also where they also kind of messed up, I think, a little bit. I think they I think they did too much with expanding their menu. I think they should have just been more focused on, you know, the hell with salads and look, that's good. That's great. That you want to give variety, that's great. But like stick to, if anything, expand upon burgers. Try different burger combinations. I don't even mind the chicken sandwiches, right? I don't even mind that. If you want to maybe do wraps, like that's fine too. But I think they missed their true calling card where, They should have been like, okay, what new exclusive burgers can we try to craft next that like you'll only be able to get here at? And to their credit, we're now kind of seeing them finally
Mm-hmm.
lean into that.
Mm-hmm.
I know recently there was
Mm-hmm.
a what's that Netflix show Wednesday from the Adams Family. They tried to do a theme meal
Mm-hmm.
off of that where the buns were purple. And
Mm-hmm.
now let me tell you guys something. Be careful because when you eat that type of stuff, that's what's going to come out at the other end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exaggerating. You will find out the hard way. But because even the Wendy's removed their little playpens and
Oh yeah.
and all of that. It's really weird from the era that we grew up in. It's really
Yeah.
weird seeing these McDonald's and Wendy's. It doesn't even scream welcome. Like that's the
No,
thing I
it
used to love
doesn't.
about these restaurants. They back in
Doesn't.
the day,
Doesn't.
they used to welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've been traveling for a while, or you're coming home
Mm-hmm.
from like welcome. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
stay a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just it doesn't even to the point. It doesn't even smell
Nope.
to me at times. Where you can't even smell the food now. If
Right.
anything, you smell more sanitization.
Mm-hmm. So you're getting away from the eating experience. Everybody wants fast food fast, and because of some are saying busy lifestyle and what have you, but you're taking away from the experience. Back when myself and Lee were growing up, you went to McDonald's, you got not only, your parents got a little bit of a reprieve because you were in the jungle gym or whatever outside play area and they knew you were safe and that they can actually enjoy a meal and the whole thing. So there was an experience there. And the kids obviously it was like, yeah, that's what I want. And then they're running out to the, play area and they're just like happy as everything. Now it really is just this depressing, somewhat colorful, just grab your shit and go. And it's honestly taking away, we don't have, as a society, we don't have much experiences, dining experiences. It's pretty much, I mean, even to the point where you have gig drivers who are like, yeah, I'm not even getting out of my own house. I want somebody to deliver to me and I'm good. So in some ways, our our lifestyles and the way we want it are taking away from the experiences that we're getting in our local restaurants, whether it be Wendy's, whether it be McDonald's, whether it be Popeyes or whatever, because of the society and the way it is now, because the world that we grew up in totally different on the reverse side of it.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. Speaking of food and running to the bathroom and all that. So what is going on? I've been noticing this more and more and more, and I don't know if it's just old man Lee yelling at the cloud here. What is going on with you ladies always taking pictures, little selfies of yourselves in the bathroom? Because I gotta tell you, I've been noticing more and more. I'm not even looking for this stuff. I'm just minding my own business, browsing the web and all that, and I'll come across all these random pictures like of women, all shapes, sizes, colors. They're taking these selfies in the bathroom, and like I don't know if anybody else is doing like I'm doing here because I kind of feel like this is a Jerry Seinfeld moment. What's going on? But I am I'm not even looking at the women that are posing for these selfies. I am more concerned about what is going on with the bathroom that they're in. And I'm trying to see how clean it is because that kind of is saying to me, okay, well, you definitely care about your hygiene. To my point, I have seen my fair share of women that are taking these bathroom selfies one woman in particular took a selfie of herself. I don't know if it was from the bathroom stall that she was in, but there was tissue on the floor. And I'm going, that's not, heaven forbid that you're, well, not heaven forbid, but actually, no, heaven forbid. If you're a plump sized woman, a BBW, and you're taking a picture of yourself in your bathroom or a place that has a bathroom, I'm looking at the bathroom. I'm going, how's the bathroom? Does it look kind of look kind of good and everything? Um, I find that if I see a woman that takes a selfie, like maybe she's taking a selfie of herself at a bathroom at like a gym, little fitness center or whatever, like I'm cool. That's great. It's nice. It's immaculate. Okay, I mean like clean one. I mean it is immaculate. Like okay, all right, cool. But like yeah, I've been noticing more and more and more women are taking these selfies. Now look, I've seen some men that are guilty of these selfies as well. I've seen some men take little selfies in the bathroom. Like no, don't like help me understand. It's more so the women that I'm seeing of the men taking the selfies in the bathroom. It seems like the men's MOs when it comes to their selfies, uh, they're taking a selfie of themselves in their car, or maybe they're out and about walking and they take a selfie. Like, well, what's going on?
So
Please defend the women.
my first thing is I will be the first to say to you that I don't necessarily look at, I mean, I might look at where the picture's taken, but if it's in the bathroom, it's like, oh, okay. And so it doesn't phase me
Hmm.
as far as, oh, well, this is in the bathroom and I'm not looking on the floor and, whatever else is in the composition. Generally, for me, I'm focused on the main subject.
Hmm.
That's number one. Number two, the only other thing that I can think of is generally most bathrooms have a lot of mirrors and good light.
My other personal favorite is seeing when the females take a selfie and there's no more tissue on the roll. Or and I've seen this a lot too. There's like three last squares on the roll. And my mind just drifts and I'm like, she's doing a lot of wiping.
So most people don't think the way you do. I can promise you that I've never thought, damn, that bitch wipes her ass a lot.
Oh
Now,
god.
I can say this with confidence that there's actually a picture of me. It's actually one of my top five, probably even top three pictures of me. And it actually is taken not in a bathroom stall, but it is taken from a bathroom because it has a long mirror and the lighting was really good. And I happen to like the bathroom was immaculately clean.
Mm,
But that's actually the only picture in a bathroom that I've ever taken.
yeah.
So as far as the reasoning behind it, that's the only thing I can come up with. But and then the other thing is, sorry, you're just weird.
Now, okay, now I'm gonna need some of the fellas and maybe even some of the ladies to come to my defense if it's even possible. Be like, no, Lee, yeah, I see. I'm right there with you, man. I may not say it publicly, but in this case,
I
Like,
look at the toilet
look, look,
stall
look, look.
tissue too.
Look, look. I'm gonna put a poll up, and I'm just gonna pull a Jerry Seinfeld. I'm gonna be like, "What about those women selfies in the bathrooms, people?" I'm gonna put the poll up, and we're gonna see how people have voted because I'm very very curious.
Make sure you put, do I look at everything in the photo to make sure in reference to
Okay.
how many squares are on the roll or if they've used it all or
All I'm saying, maybe it's my photography mindset. I don't
it's
know if that's
possible.
what's kicking in because, like,
That's possible.
I care about like what all is in the frame and like how it's
That went
gonna
out
make
the window
sense.
a long time
You know
ago.
how it's gonna make sense to the viewer, and I just can't help but just okay, if I'm gonna take a picture of myself at a public restroom, I don't think I want to take a picture of myself in a public restroom where there's tissue all on the floor.
That
I'm,
might be true.
I'm just saying, right? Especially if
Oh,
I'm
you
the,
had me at tissue on the
you
floor,
know,
but you lost me with there's three squares on the roll.
well, what else am I supposed to think? Especially if it's giving me the indication that it's your own private bathroom, and it's like, oh wow, somebody's running low on TP. You need more TP for the bunghole.
So so let me break it down to how I would think about it. At this point, if you are focused on the tissue roll, the subject that's in the photo must not be that interesting.
I mean, the subject is interesting, but I just go, damn, there's about three squares left on the roll. What's going on? And then if I don't see the tissue on the roll, I go, oh damn, somebody's out of tissue. They really should reload. Are they using a wet rag? Are they, don't send the wrong message. I'm just I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Guys, WTF on this
I'm
conversation.
just saying. What is going on? I want to know. Curious minds want to know. Speaking of women, and get your thoughts on this before we get ready to dip out. Um, so let me set this up for because I want to hear your thoughts on this one because I came across this one. I talked about it earlier in the week, and I was like, hmm. But I want to get your thoughts on this. So there is a female wrestler. There's been a new update on this too. So female wrestler, former WWE wrestler by the name of Tegan Nox. She's now going by her new ring name, Nixon Noel. And during last week's episode of AEW Collision, and I was not even aware that this other wrestler, I thought they were just best friends, but apparently this is her partner, her romantic partner, her girlfriend,
Oh.
Miranda Elise. They were initially booked for a match against Tay Conti and Anna Jay, and they seemingly walked out of the match unhappy with only being given 3 minutes for this. And this decision was made at the last minute. So allegedly, the promotion, AEW, Tony Khan and crew, they had to look for individuals to fill in for them. Maya World and Hyan stepped in their place, and Dave Meltzer and crew on the Wrestling Observer, they reported that one individual on the independent circuit mentioned that this controversy won't help Nixon Noel secure bookings despite similar situations having the opposite effect. Say, quote, unquote, a publicity would help get Noel bookings, even though this became kind of the talk in wrestling. And some indie promoters think that controversy will help sell tickets, and they aren't just two random women. But then you can make another announcement that, well, they're not really established, though. Not really. Another unnamed booker gave a bold take saying this situation will give her zero leverage with bookings. They claimed that this was WWE brain rot and that she was asking too much based on her name alone, quote unquote. But one person who books independent talent said they disagreed. Wasn't it just the other week you were talking about wrestlers who had leverage not wanting to do business? How about wrestlers with zero leverage? Nixon isn't going to get work out of this. She wasn't getting work before and was crying about it. She asks way too much money and sells zero tickets on her name alone. Unusual WWE brain rot. So Meltzer believed that Nixon Noel and Miranda Elise may never get booked within the company ever again. Keep in mind, he has direct contact with Tony Khan. So whatever message that maybe Tony Khan wants to try to get relayed, I mean, it's so bad. There was actually a stream recently where in the middle of the stream, Dave Meltzer actually got a call from Tony Khan.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So,
that's pretty bad.
yeah. So, if Meltzer is say he believes that these women won't get booked ever again, at least in AEW, Brian Alvarez, co-host, said that he heard something similar as those within the company strongly believe the duo had done something stupid, saying, quote unquote, let me tell you something I heard from a lot of people. And what is amazing is that the show was going on. So people were even waiting until the show was over. Maybe Tony told them there were no hard feelings, but I could tell you one thing. There were so many people that were like, such a stupid thing to do. And that's the one thing I heard over and over. What a stupid thing to do. Now, Nixon Noel, she revealed recently that she's going to be considering retiring in 2026 with the current situation that she's in. And right now, it remains to be seen if she'll be able to gather some bookings before or if she may end up just saying F it. You know, she's going out
Hmm.
there, she's saying, hey, I just want to have fun. And but then, allegedly, not even allegedly, but I read part of the transcript from her Twitch stream that she did with her girlfriend. With her and her girlfriend, they were on Twitch playing video games, and they had talked about what all had occurred. And she basically was like, "No, we didn't like the fact that it was a 3 minute match. We had already lost in our debut match." And here we are, we're being brought back, and we're going to lose to another team, and that didn't make sense to us. Not to mention the match was short, so we went to Tony Khan, we went to so many people, and they were very understanding, because we told him, we said, hey, this doesn't make sense for us, it doesn't make sense for the team, it doesn't make sense for the segment. We should really be doing something kind of longer. And Tony Khan and everybody involved that we spoke to, they were like, hey, it's cool, no problem whatsoever. And hey, they didn't need us for anything else. So we went on ahead, we made sure everything was on the up and up good, and we pretty much rolled out. Now, this might have been some type of a situation where they were being paid per appearance. So it's like not for nothing, but this wasn't, to quote one of my favorite Eagles songs, wasting time. Like you actually were being compensated here.
Hmm.
You were brought back a second time. Obviously, you made a really good impression the first go round,
Right.
but now it's okay. So uh even if it was just 3 minutes and you were gonna lose to another match, you're going to lose another match. Think about the eyeballs that's seeing you on HBO Max. Think about the eyeballs that's seeing you on TNT, TBS. Think about the social media impressions. Think about the fact that for your little Twitch gaming stream with your girlfriend, you guys could have easily built a talking segment
Yep.
around that on your next stream.
Hmm.
How the match was, and
Hmm.
maybe tell some fun little innuendo stories or whatever. I sounded off about what I thought about this whole ordeal on. Matter of fact, I was on Friday. Now that I think about it, we did a regular Friday edition of the RCWR show. That is on the YouTube channel right now. I've got to actually upload the audio version of that. So I've set it up properly for you, especially for those that maybe wanted more full context on this. So you hear all of that. What say you?
First of all, my first thought is okay, you're building a name for yourself, but then you change it up.
And she formerly worked for WWE. She was part of the Get on the Bus flip some months back. Yeah.
So, but either way, so some of those people who knew you as whoever your,
Alter
out of
ego.
character
Yeah.
alter ego was, don't know you or who you are now. You are getting paid per appearance. Who the fuck cares what the hell how long your damn match is? And if they implied that that's what it was going to be and it changed, the thing was not to have a hissy fit, but to go do the damn thing and talk to management about it later. Because now here's the situation that she's put herself into. She's hard to work with, and that retirement is going to come sooner rather than later. Because nobody, nobody does that. Not as a jobber.
Hmm.
Not as a jobber. You're not even a main talent.
Yeah.
You don't have that kind of weight or that pull to be acting like that. So that was a very dumb move on her part.
I mean, my impression, just to add more new layers to what you just said, I mean, financially, she must be set because if you are financially set, then the real question becomes,
Why are you
okay,
doing
so
it?
why are you really doing this?
And the second and the last thing that I can say,
More importantly, why are you putting your girlfriend through this? Because your girlfriend,
yeah,
who is also a wrestler, she's been at it now. Miranda Elise, she's been wrestling since she's about the same age as Noelle. She's been wrestling since 2014, so she's got about roughly 10 years under her belt. I know a lot of people were like, "Who is this girl? I've never heard of her before." I did some digging around, and she's been all over the place. She did a couple of years working for Booker T's Reality of Wrestling promotion. Short little stint for the Shimmer promotion, Rise. Hot minute there in WWE. I know one of her appearances was as Adam Rose's Rosebud entourage. She was also involved in the first annual Mae Young Classic. She had a losing match in 2020 on AEW Dark against Britt Baker. So there was already some past affiliation built in there for her. And even if Tegan might have been, I'm sorry, Noelle, Nixon Noelle, even if she might have been feeling a particular way, it's kind of one of those, okay, well, you might be getting ready to retire, but
well, what about your girlfriend?
what about your girlfriend?
And the other thing with that is, if anybody has watched AEW in the past 5 years, especially at its inception, they put the winning title or the win on the prize horse. Basically, how many times did oh Lord, I can't think of the name. But basically, the twins that were brothers,
Young Bucks.
Young Bucks. How many times did they win? Too damn many. So if you already know of a history of a company, then why should you be surprised? That's just how I feel about it. You know, you are getting paid. You are getting promoted. You are getting some type of nod for have be it however long.
Mhm.
You can't make waves if you're no longer in the company. If you've burned that bridge,
Right.
you'll never be able to make waves. And then and essentially leaving them high and dry. Yeah, you've burned that bridge and a few others.
And she can say she's still a little young and a little
And
naive. She
that's
can say all she wants. Oh no, everything was good. Don't believe everything that you hear. No, I have it on good authority. Everything was cool. Everything was on the up and up. Let me tell you something. You and I have both played that game before where we will stay face and we will say, whatever to let that person feel as though, but once that person is no longer in our view and hearing range, we're like, yeah, that ain't happening again.
yeah. Most recently was your um your graduation dinner with that waitress.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean that it does happen, and why would she say anything different to make herself look like she's anything less than, abiding by the company?
mhm,
Cuz then that makes her look difficult just the same.
right. I don't get some of these people. I really really don't. I mean, I'm of the mindset personally when you agree to do a job, right? Even if it's a situation where you're not being used, but you're still being paid.
Mhm.
Hey, easiest money I ever made. Like, I
Right.
would love to take this time out. And when I just think about the amount of jobbers that we have seen and spoken to here on this show, what was the one guy, big sweaty men, uh, Johnny Johnny Knockout. I would love to hear Johnny Knockout. Now, for those of you that don't remember Johnny Knockout was somebody that had appeared on WWE Raw. My God, I think at this point it might have been almost 10 years ago. And I can't remember who he faced. But I remember, I think it was Byron Saxton. He was like, "Why did you decide to do this match?" I don't know if it was maybe against Braun Strowman,
Probably.
but Byron Saxton was like, "Why did you decide to do this match?" And Johnny Knoxville, not Knoxville, Knockout. He had his 15 minutes of fame. He was like, "Hey, I like big sweaty men," and he might have lost to whoever in like 5 seconds or whatever, but he was able to ride that wave. I remember he was part of all different podcasts, left and right, for like at least about 2 months, and he rolled that freaking momentum. Find me just all the jobbers that we've seen over the years. You don't think they appreciate? For God's sake, James Ellsworth.
Mhm.
Think about him. That guy was a jobber, and eventually he got himself he was able to work himself to a nice situation with the WWE for a hot little bit
Yep.
as a result of all the work that he was doing
Mhm.
as a jobber. Now, I mean, look, if you're at a place financially, you're good. Then it becomes a question of, so why are we wasting everybody's time? Like,
Right.
you're not Al Pacino, you're not Diane
Right.
Keaton, you know.
Right.
Don't nobody need to be rolling. You ain't reached Mercedes Monet status,
Right.
okay?
Mhm.
And that I will give AEW, Tony Khan and them credit where credit is freaking due. Their roster is freaking stacked. So if you don't want to freaking do XYZ,
They're gonna find somebody who will.
yeah, and they won't use your ass again in the process.
Correct.
I want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors because without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Hey, I want to take this time and give a shout out to the good folks over there at the IME radio station streaming 24/7. Tune in, vibe out, discover your next favorite track. These guys play songs from the United States, Europe, Canada. We're talking top 40 hits, hidden gems, indie artists, up and coming indie artists, up and coming artists you should know about in general. Check them out, the IMEI radio station, friends of the RCWR show. Also, justmovieposters.com. I know you got those bare walls in that favorite room of yours. Don't leave them bare any longer, especially with the holidays are here. They're coming. Have your family put that on the bucket list. Get you some really cool movie posters. Justmovieposters.com. If there is a favorite movie of yours and you're going, man, I'd love to have a poster of 9 times out of 10 Just Movie Posters, they've got you covered on that. Once again, justmovieposters.com. We're also brought to you in part by I Want to Learn SQL.com. Your next data learning experience begins with a query. Check them out. I want to learn SQL.com. All these people, friends of the show, appreciate working with them because without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. So, quick programming notes. We are, as far as programs, Monday, November 17th, 2025, back on the saddle again. New RCWR show after WWE Raw goes off the air. Got to tell you, it was very lovely these past 2 weekends now where there hasn't been a wrestling pay per view. That has been, oh, love it. I love it. More, please, more. But yeah, we'll be on after Monday Night Raw goes off the air. And then don't forget, Friday, November 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern, live all throughout social media. It's the 14th anniversary show. Going to be celebrating 14 years of the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. So make sure you mark that down, and we'll be streaming all while SmackDown is on. Maybe even a little after. I'm picturing maybe we'll do like a 3, maybe we'll do like a 4 hour show. We'll see how it goes, but I know I'll definitely I'll be reacting in real time to some of the stuff that's happening on SmackDown. I know Tam said she'll definitely pop in for a little bit. She's actually going to be helping as well in screening phone calls. So anybody that maybe wants to call in, happy anniversary wishes and all of that, you'll be able to do so on the show. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun, good show. We'll get into some fun stories, some good times, nothing but good vibes all the way around. Be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. Yeah. Oh, shout out to Mish of Wrestling Soup and Joe Numbers. Mish is one of Mish's kiddos is getting married. I don't know if it's this coming weekend or the next. I was like, dude, you gotta hook me up if they got a registry or something. I'd like to, try to get them something if possible, if they got it set up. So, congrats, man! It's like time flies so fast. I remember when he was, just talking about them being, much younger and now like time freaking flies, man. That's insane. Shout out to Julian Cannon of the Nocturnal and Digiday. Shout out to our longtime listeners, supporters of the show as well. Show the YouTube channel some love. If you haven't subscribed over there, make sure you do so. Always putting up some great, fun, exclusive content on there for you guys. Oh, by the way, shout out to everybody that voted on the poll. The final results of that poll, because I definitely want to make sure we at least mention this before we dip out, we asked you guys, and for those of you that maybe were not aware of this poll, there was a poll that we put out last week where we were like, hey, go check out the latest edition of Wrestling with the Topics and then come back and vote on the poll. There was actually a live webcast where me and Tams appeared, and you could see us in the flesh. And I kept it simple, which was, please, guys, I need to see more shows like that. Keep it the way you've been doing it, and then alternate it every other episodes. And the final tally that I'm seeing right now, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to continue to vote because it's on the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/the RCWR show, click on post, and you'll see it. But right now, 33% of you said keep it the way you've been doing it. 67% of you said, please, guys, need to see more shows like that. I was prepared to do another hey, you see us in the flesh show, but Tams isn't feeling too good. Matter of fact, she wants to get a little bit of Dayquil and all that. She's been sipping, nibbling on a little bit of soup here and there. So it was kind of like, okay, all right. So that's why you got this show the way you got it. Hopefully, if she's feeling better, we will maybe next weekend do a live wrestling with the topics. By the way, I'll leave you guys on a funny note. So I finally watched all the episodes of the newest season of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. All right, so I'm about to put a major spoiler out there. So if you guys want to disconnect right now, like go ahead, you have been warned. So I watch it right real quick. I ain't being long drawn out. I watch it and I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to feel sorry for these motherfuckers because their boat got destroyed and they can't go home. Like, no, like y'all should have left because now they're in Spain or something. I'm like, y'all should have left a long time ago. Because Daryl kept telling Carol, hey, ain't none of our business. We need to just keep moving along. Know what I mean? And Carol's like, oh, but they're young, they're in love. They're like, don't mean a goddamn thing to me, Carol. I'm trying to get back home. And that, like, Daryl is literally like, but Carol just want to keep, she's like, that's not how we roll. And Daryl's like, well, maybe we should start, and so you go through all this crap, right? And their boat gets destroyed. And they got to play the Spanish version of Johnny Cash's Hurt. They actually played that while their boat was being destroyed. I'm like, okay. And I laughed so goddamn hard. I laughed so goddamn hard because they're like, no, not the boat, save the boat. And but because the boat ended up like catching fire, like we gotta save the boat. And then the boat freaking explodes, and they're like, no. And you got freaking Carol who's starting to light. It's what that whole scene reminded me of with Carol as she was basically being embraced by Daryl. It reminded me of the crying Indian commercial from back in the day. Look this up if you guys don't remember. There's a vintage commercial from back in the day. It's like in the late 60s, 70s, where this Indian is sad because his land is being destroyed by people that are being reckless with their recyclables and trash. They're just throwing it all over the place. And they show this Indian who just is seeing all of this wasteland around him. And then he turns his head and looks directly at a hard camera, and there's this tiny little teardrop that just comes streaming down his face. And like, we got freaking Carol doing that, and you got the whole Spanish version from some guy, yo donde no aquí, know, yo quiero Taco Bell. It's like, I'm just like, like, and I was supposed to feel sorry for you guys. Like, no, fuck off. Like, seriously, fuck. You don't remember that commercial with the Indian?
I probably do if I saw it
Oh,
again.
hold up. Now we
Oh
hold
Lord.
up. Now we gotta freaking wait a minute. Hang on here. Hang on here. Hang on here. And anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube, type in crying Indian commercial. Okay? Crying Indian commercial. Here it is. Here it is. Let's see if you can hear this. Okay, hang on. I don't think the listeners are gonna be able to hear this. But that's okay. That's okay. Okay, and then where is my volume? Where is my volume here? Give me a second here. It's the Keep America Beautiful Crying Indian. Okay, and then where is the oh, I got my volume right here, right? Let me see. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so everybody might be able to hear this. Okay, so let me go to full screen. All right. So basically, to set this up properly for you guys, so we got this crying Indian. He is like, God damn it. So we got this crying Indian. He's on a boat, and it's a man-made boat, and he's just going through it, just paddling along, and as he's just paddling along, he's coming across all kinds of debris in the water, and then, he sees, the Captain Planet. He's seeing the freaking factories and the smog and all of that. And then he comes up on the shore and he's seeing like dead fishes. He's seeing like a whole bunch of trash and and then he just he sees the cars and then all the exhaust fumes that's coming from them and the more trash, and he just looks dead at the camera and he just starts busting up crying. All right, here we go. So he sees the trash. Oh my god. You don't remember that?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember the crying Indian? Oh my god. Oh my god. Tab's got this look on her face like, what the fuck did I just watch?
No, actually, I'm thinking it's even worse now.
As far as the pollution goes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. That's all I got for you guys. She's the beautiful and the lovely Tammy Lee Sanders. We're wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. We'll see you next go round. Take care.
Bye bye.